Live from the Something Cool Studios. Chris, how do I finish that? Live from the somethingcool.com studios.
Live from Something Cool. This is.
Okay. Should I start over again? Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right.
This is K12 Tech Talk. K12 Tech Talk. The podcast by K12 Techs for K12 Techs. Real conversations, real arguments, and real banter on trending K12 technology topics and issues.
Live from the somethingcool.com studios. This is the K12 Tech Talk podcast. My name's
And
Mark.
you are not Josh.
No, I'm Mark.
I'm Chris.
Chris. We're struggling through this intro because Josh has left us. Where is he again?
I actually, he went on, I think we can say it now, he went on a vacation. But he didn't, say he was, or maybe I don't always, pay attention to what people say. So I didn't realize till he was on vacation that he was on vacation. And really, till today, when he said he couldn't do the podcast, was it really clicking in my head?
Yeah, he just said, I'm going to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I didn't know if this is a family thing or whatnot, but then he's been sending us pictures all week of him on the beach.
Yeah, we are clearly, we've seen pictures of Josh on the beach, pictures of the food that he's eating. He's been taking in the oysters. We're in the definite core friendship zone with Josh. This has proven that.
Well, this afternoon was a little concerning, though. So he sends a picture of a sign that says, "Seagulls are aggressive. Do not feed them." And then he sends us a picture of a seagull. It's kind of like staring him down.
And you had some concern.
I had one concern, and that is that he took a picture of a pigeon. So I think
he doesn't get out much.
No, I think Midwest Josh has made it to the ocean, and he's very concerned about the seagulls there, and I'm very concerned about Josh's ability to recognize the difference between a seagull and a pigeon.
Josh. He just needs to come back to Missouri, and it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, but he looks like he's having fun. He's relaxing. He has sent multiple pictures of the ocean, as if we've never seen the ocean before.
Yeah.
So
that we couldn't look up pictures of, just on our own.
Yeah.
It's okay though. I like him sending pictures.
It's fun. So, and he was going to try to record with us tonight, but he had some family stuff. So
that's that work life, family, whatever balance. He chose family over you and I.
Yeah, that's fine. He can do that. So, what do we got on the agenda tonight?
I think we're going to talk about. You sent me this K12 Six self-assessment.
Yeah, we're going to go through an assessment tonight.
That sounds really boring.
It's a standardized test. A, B, C, D, all that. What else?
Okay. And then there was some stuff with OneDrive. I'm not a Microsoft 365 kind of person or kind of school district. But OneDrive had some downtime this week. I think we'll unpack that for a couple minutes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we'll talk about some Midwest Tech Talk. What do you want to get into first?
So let's talk about this big outage, this Microsoft OneDrive and Office 365 outage. So at the time of this writing, I did check before we started, and it seems to be back up. At least for me, it was fine. But earlier today and earlier this week, Microsoft was hit with a DDoS attack. And OneDrive was down today, and they had a lot of other issues with Office 365 earlier this week. They did send notice out to their customers that they were experiencing an outage, but then later they acknowledged that a hacking organization or a cyber criminal organization that I'm not going to give them the name of we're not going to give them any credit on the podcast, but the name of the organization. Or the organization came out publicly and said that they had DDoS Microsoft, and they had kind of thrown out some threats against them as well. So this appears to be a cyber attack on Microsoft and on one of the largest collaboration suites out there. So that's a pretty significant attack if this really was a confirmed cyber attack or a DDoS attack.
This reminds me of what I was reminded of today. We are in the midst. I know you're not there yet, but we are in the midst of summer school, and clearly we are using technology more and more. And we know this. I'm saying something that tech departments in K-12 know, but technology is just more and more and more and more used. But in particular with summer school to us used to be a time when it's low tech.
Yeah.
And we get to kind of breathe and start on summer work.
Yeah.
We had some downtime with one of our credit recovery products today, and it was a really big deal. We just expect uptime at all times, whether it's a collaboration tool like Office 365, OneDrive stuff, or whatever. K-12 expects it. I'm sure schools were impacted by this OneDrive thing today.
So you had some downtime. Did you want to talk about this? Because last time we were talking,
my networking has been postponed.
Okay.
To next week. Hopefully that's going to happen next week.
Okay.
And I can tell you the great story about it, because that should be early in the week. So hopefully we usually record this on Thursdays. Hopefully by next Thursday, my new networking stuff is in place. So we had no downtime of networking this week.
Okay. I was wondering if this big outage was your fault.
No.
Now that you've taken the keys over, but no. Okay. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
So
making it on the network admin front so far. I did pull 4, which this is not going to be my regular gig. Not that I'm above this, but I pulled 4 networking cables.
Wow.
This week because our tech office is getting redone. I needed 2 drops for myself, 2 for our maintenance director.
Wow.
So I pulled those. I was up on a ladder, moving ceiling tiles around.
Okay. You
Just
terminate the cables? You terminate them too?
No, I didn't do that.
Oh,
but
okay.
I can.
So all you did was just pull a cable across the room.
For sure.
Okay.
2 rooms,
all right.
like a room into a hallway.
Okay.
It took a little bit of time. And then I Matt, the technician, I said, Matt, you are really good at putting the ends on. And he's really particular about the boxes and how it looks. He made it look better than I would have.
Okay. All right. So you got a backup there.
Yeah.
Let's go back to this OneDrive outage, the Office 365 outage. You're a Google district. We're a Google district as well. Do you have backup plans for your collaboration suite? So, for example, for the districts that experience the outage with OneDrive today and all their files suddenly are inaccessible, do you have a backup plan for that? I mean, I feel like that's a really, really hard function to come up with a backup plan for.
Right. I mean, no. There's that Google. What's the Google Drive thing that can put it like with your Windows computer? I was trying to look that up real quick. That can do the offline file stuff on your Windows device. It like adds like a G drive to your computer.
Yeah, there's they change names, backup and sync or file sync or something like that. Yeah. So there's that, but
that's as close to it as I get.
Okay.
Anytime I've looked at other solutions, the cost is too high for us to get there.
So this is kind of where I was going towards is, do you have one of those Google Drive backup solutions? Like the cloud-based Google backup that just backs up your entire Google system?
That'd be awesome, though.
Would it?
Do you just want to live? I mean, because that's what because the cloud's going to be there, the internet's going to be there. We just need to chill.
I feel like I don't need to back up Google.
I mean,
there's probably a lot of people like furious with me right now that I'm saying that.
I'm with you. I also know it's been super. I mean, so I'm going into my 10th year as a one-to-one school district using Google stuff. I can honestly still. Maybe I get through finger count and start again, but not many times have we ever had to pull like a backup to restore Google Drive files that something bad happened.
Yeah.
And really, Google outages, it's been super rare.
Yeah,
for Drive to be down or whatever. Like, that's super rare.
Yeah.
Google's backing up my stuff. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of blind trust. There's definitely people who are going to call in or email in like furious with us that we're depending on Google or Microsoft. But I know there are products that are out there. I just haven't. In my 10 years of using Google, we've never had a situation where we haven't been able to recover a file or an email that somebody had deleted. So just found it interesting.
Yep.
So, well, if you are an Office district and you suffered from the outage this week, I'm very sorry. But it's also a really good wake-up call that even Microsoft can be hit with a DDoS attack. So,
is it also a call that Google is better?
I'm not answering that.
We do catch some slack on here that we don't talk about Office 365 that much. We don't talk about Windows Land that much. That is something we're going to try to do a little better job with.
Yeah, we got to.
But it's because we live in Google.
We live in Google. We use Chromebooks. I think that's the more common thing to do. But there's a whole lot of districts out there that are missing out on you and I and Josh because we don't talk about Office 365.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to fix that this year. That's our goal.
We'll get there. All right, let's talk about this district self-assessment.
Yes. So K12 Six, we've talked about them a little bit on the podcast. We went to the K12 Six conference a few months ago, if you remember that. They are
I went in for a hug, and or maybe that was you. I don't remember. We almost hugged.
Did we almost hug?
It was really late at night, though.
It was, I got in
for the first time.
Yeah. So, all right, that was K12 Six. So they've come out with a new version of their essential K12 cybersecurity protections. And these are a set of standards. And there's an assessment that you can take. It's a self-assessment that you can take for your district. And you actually come out with a rating, a good score, and a plan of action. And so these are 12 questions. We're going to dive into this tonight. And by the end of this, we're going to have gone through each of the 12 questions, hopefully give you some tips if you wanted to do this yourself. Or if you want to take a second, pause the podcast, open this up. It's k12six.org/self-assessment.
Nice.
You can take this test with us as we talk about it, and then you'll have an action plan at the end. For privacy reasons, Chris. Sorry about that. Chris
Never
and I
do that again.
I apologize. I know you know what a seagull looks like.
Yeah, what an idiot.
We are going to talk about the questions. We're going to talk about the answers, but we are not going to talk about our own personal answers for each of this. But at the end, we'll talk about the results. So, question 1. You got this open, Chris?
I'm ready.
You ready? Has your school district enabled web-based malware filtering? No is 1. Yes, it's enabled for all staff and students. Yes, internet malware and keyword geolocation filtering is enabled for all users. Yes, internet malware filtering is enabled for all users and servers. DNS and search strings, filtered logs are reviewed. Broken, unmanaged systems are remediated. That's a long one.
Nice.
Or not applicable because the district internet access is an allow list only.
That's hardcore.
Or F, other.
I'm going to take a guess that F does not give you a good score at the end.
I don't know.
If you're clicking other all the time.
Yeah. All right, I've answered mine. Questions on that one?
I'm just going to say I bet I would hope that most schools are between B and D. You don't hear of a lot of schools doing allow list only anymore. And most schools, I think, have some kind of filtering going that they would at least give a yes to.
You may have allow lists for other functionalities, but this is really about web-based malware filtering. So,
and D is hardcore. That you're filtering, you got strings filtered, you're reviewing logs. I feel like if you're clicking D, you're probably lying.
You're probably Pate. I think Pate is the only one who's going through his firewall logs and reviewing things and then blocking from there. So, all right. Question 2. Do you want to read this one?
You got it.
Does your district enable and regularly tune anti-phishing filtering solutions for email? Nope. That's the first one. Yes, we've enabled anti-phishing filters. Yes, we've enabled anti-phishing. We block internet source macros. We purge phish emails, and we warn users about current threats. D, yeah, we've enabled anti-phishing filters for email. We block internet source macros. We purge emails. And we monitor outbound email for sensitive data leaks.
Nice.
Or E, other.
Okay. I'm going to say...
What is that other? What's other?
Yeah, don't click E.
Okay.
But again, the outbound email, and that's been talked about with cybersecurity insurance, even asking some questions about, because we think we're so hardcore and cool when we do inbound.
Yeah.
But are you doing outbound? That's that next step. Are you taking the next step to pay attention to what you're sending away?
Well, so this says we monitor outbound email. I'm going to assume that nobody's sitting there just reading outbound emails, that you have an automated service that's doing that, right? Okay. All right.
For sensitive data leaks.
Feel like that's a lot. Question 3.
I'm ready.
Does your district protect the district from risks presented by third parties? Nope. Vendor accounts are not expired. Default vendor passwords are used. No vendor list is managed. Whew. B. Yes, vendor default passwords are changed. Vendor accounts are expired. A vendor list exists. C. Vendor default passwords are changed. Vendor accounts are expired, et cetera, et cetera. They keep adding things. And vendors have been reviewed for cybersecurity and data sharing concerns, and the vendor list is updated annually. D, all of that stuff, and third-party apps and vendors all have data sharing agreements and are managed for risk. And then E, other.
I just want to click other.
You can do it. It's okay.
Just so I don't have to click one of the other ones.
E, I don't use any vendors. It's all me.
Vendor question mark?
All right, question 4. Why don't you read this one?
Does your district expose insecure services, RDP, Telnet, SMB, or FTP directly to the internet? Does it expose insecure services? So A, yes, one or more of RDP, Telnet, SMB, and or FTP is exposed directly to the internet. One or more. B, yes, but access is protected by an application gateway proxy or IP-ACL. C, yes, but access is protected with MFA. NLA also enabled students segmented from sensitive internal systems. D, no insecure systems are exposed to the internet. Internal network comprehensively segmented by roles. Or E, other.
All right,
and
I'm answering.
That's a little tricky. That's a tricky one.
There's a lot of parts to it.
Where should I click? All right, I got mine.
You got it? Okay. All right. Number 5.
Here we go. Does your district grant local administrator rights for all regular users, both staff and student? Listen, if you've been listening to the K12 Tech Talk podcast for any amount of time, if you go back and listen to the ransomware interviews we've done, you better, I hope that we score well on this one, Mark.
I was just with a district this week who was hit. It was a major district. And I said, how'd things go afterwards? And they said, get rid of local admin rights.
This is always what we hear.
It's like always what we hear.
The anything can happen. I don't want to tread off into I had local admin rights and I still had bad things happen. That can happen.
Yeah.
But the terrible stories you hear, it always comes down to local admin rights.
Yeah. And I think what
what
we're seeing, it is, but we're seeing a lot more of is, there's the ransomwares to take over and encrypt your systems. And then there is the second ransom, which is I have your data. And the local admin rights on a machine, it just takes one computer and somebody's got some spreadsheets and some data, and then you're done. So that local admin rights, you're increasing your attack surface pretty exponentially by doing that. So
here we go. A, yes, staff and or students are provided admin rights to their devices by default. Mark, wink at me if you click that one. B, no, neither staff nor students are granted admin rights. Manually approved exceptions are made. I dig that one. Okay, I can see a lot of people clicking that. Maybe. C.
Okay.
Neither staff nor students are granted admin rights. Temporary admin access can be provisioned. Nice. D. No, neither staff nor students are granted admin rights. Process to allow pre-approved software and drivers to be installed is in place. Admin user groups are regularly audited. IT admins use least privilege accounts for routine work. And then E, other, or a combination.
All right, I've answered.
Me too.
Okay. Number 6.
You got it.
Does your district install and manage advanced endpoint protection like Microsoft Defender on your devices? Can we define advanced endpoint protection?
Yeah, I always struggle with that because I didn't think Microsoft Defender was that.
That's kind of where I was going too, but I can see where it's coming from. So advanced endpoint protections, I think this is where you're moving from something like McAfee or Symantec to CrowdStrike or a system that is doing a whole lot more than just looking for common viruses.
SentinelOne, Carbon Black.
Yeah. So that's really where you need to be, and that's what when you talk about advanced endpoint protection, this is a whole lot more than just virus protection and malware protection. You're talking about something like Carbon Black and SentinelOne and CrowdStrike. Your answers are no, obviously. The second one, B, is yes, we've installed Windows Defender or similar antivirus product on all machines and servers. C, yes, we've installed and activated extended detection and response, XDR software. There's a whole lot of acronyms. I'm not going to read everything because it's probably boring to hear us read. D, yes, we've installed this and we benefit from a managed service provider or a SOC providing 24/7, 365 coverage. E, not applicable. All staff and students use Chrome OS or other systems that are low risk for malware. That's a risky response to say that they're low risk for malware. Or F, other.
I like it.
Okay, I've got my answer in. Number 7 is my favorite. Does your school district enforce MFA for staff? No, we have not enabled MFA. Yes, but only for our most critical users. C, yes, we've enabled adaptive MFA for all staff. D, yes, we enforce MFA for all staff with exception groups as appropriate, and we offer opt-in MFA to students. And E, other.
Optional MFA for students.
So C is yes, we've enabled it for MFA for staff, and D is yes, we enable it for staff, or we force it for staff, but allow it for students. Does anybody block MFA for students?
That's what I was just thinking. I think that's because optional is on. Talking Google land, it's always been on as an option.
Yeah,
you would have to go out of your way to say no, students can't do that. Which never made a ton of sense to me, because if we need to get into a student account, we're just going to get in the Google admin and we're going to turn off two-factor on their account and get in.
Yeah, I mean, we've had students who have turned on MFA and then they leave their device at home or they didn't quite know what they were doing. So, but we've always been able to get in, so it's not a problem. But all right, here's a tricky one, and this has been a pretty hot topic on some of the Reddit categories. How does your district manage passwords and accounts? Now, this is actually talking about staff passwords and accounts. A is my favorite. User accounts are shared. Password reuse is allowed. Old accounts are rarely removed or disabled.
Yeah.
Someday they might come back. Gotta leave their account active. B, password reuse is restricted. Staff use long passphrases. Accounts lock out after multiple failed attempts or are MFA. Accounts are regularly disabled. C, all of that thing that I just described. And users are disabled within 30 days of termination or graduation. D, password reuse is restricted, long passphrase, etc., etc. User accounts modify within 30 days of exit or role change. So if you change from a teacher to a principal, your user account is modified or reset. Your permissions are reset. Or another one that they mentioned is your lockouts are triggered if there's evidence of compromise. So if you're in Office 365 or Google, that's going to happen by default, but you may have some more configuration to deal with. And then the other.
/graduation's weird there because it's talking about staff accounts. Then it mentioned the graduation.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, good point.
Right? Doug, if you're listening, fix that one.
User accounts are disabled within 30 days of termination. I know that termination often can mean like somebody is leaving on their own. That's in HR terms, termination is that. But if you're terminating somebody, you better be disabling that account within...
You're like, hey, you're fired, but you're cool for 30 days.
Don't do anything bad.
Just don't send any bad emails.
Yeah. All right, number 9. You want this one?
Sure, and this one, let me pick This next one's brought to you by Managed Methods. Get your free Google Workspace and or Office 365 security audit from Managed Methods. I'm going to put a link in the podcast description to them. Here we go. Number 9. Does your district do cybersecurity training for district staff? A, nope. we don't care.
We are taking some liberties with the language here. It doesn't actually say nope. Yeah. And it also does not say that this question is sponsored by Managed Methods. But
my bad. B, basic phishing training is done on a regular basis. C, basic phishing training and general security awareness training done on a regular basis. Okay, so we added some general security awareness. Yep. D, basic phishing training and general security awareness training done on a regular basis. Product-specific training security is done as well. Or E, a combination.
Okay. We've talked about that one at length as well. You better be answering something good here, Chris.
I do okay.
He's got a really focused look as he's answering this.
They get a little tricky.
All right, how many days does it take you to install critical patches? Now it says take your district to install, but Chris, I know that with your network guy retiring, this is you.
It's all me.
So how long? A.
I'm just gonna click other.
No, not within 30 days. B, within 30 days for all operating systems and servers. C, within 30 days for all appliances, servers, applications, operating systems. D, critical updates within 14 days. And then out of compliance systems mitigated. And then E, other.
14 days, that's hardcore. It's good. I hear you. And on appliances. Whew.
Yeah. Okay. 11. Does your district manage both document backups and document destruction? We just talked about this earlier on the podcast. A, my school district doesn't purge anything.
I like that.
Or we don't even maintain backups. B.
That's a bad one. We don't even have backups.
B, my school district applies document retention rules as appropriate and has one immutable backup. C, my school district applies document retention rules as appropriate, both on-prem and in the cloud, and has one off-site immutable backup. D, all those things I just listed, and our backup system is protected by MFA or unique credentials. And then E, other. Answered. And we have one last question. I think this is the most important one. Chris, do you want to read this?
I'm going to do what's not maybe good etiquette. This one's brought to you by Fortinet. Email FortinetPodcast@Fortinet.com. Just kidding. Right? Not really. You should email them. Here you go. Number 12. Do you have a cyber incident response plan? A, no, we do not. B, yes, we have a basic cybersecurity response plan. It exists with important contacts identified and has been approved for use. C, yes, we have a basic cybersecurity response plan. It's complete, it's approved, and we have done at least one tabletop exercise. That's good. And D, have basic tabletops happen periodically, and the plan is updated and integrated with other district plans, or E, other.
Okay. Answer that one. And the last question is, are you ready?
And you have to click yes or no.
Are you ready to generate your customized self-assessment report? Click yes, and let's see what you get. All right, so if you have done this on your own, you know exactly what the next step is. But when you complete this survey, you're given a total score. So it tells you how many points you got out of the total. And then it gives you feedback. Based on your answers, your cybersecurity risk exposure rating is low, moderate, high. And gives you a couple of tips. And then it goes question by question and tells you how well you did or how good or excellent or poor you answered on all these questions.
I'm digging it.
Yeah. I'm assuming you've got a mixture. Chris, anything you want to expose on the podcast?
Yeah. I mean, we did well. But there's always opportunities to improve.
Yeah. I think what I like about this one is it goes through your questions. It tells you kind of good, better, best, or urgent, and it does give you exactly what you need to start focusing on. So the one that I knew was going to be my top issue, sure enough, is pointed out in this one too. So
I think this is one of those things you could use a lot of time. It's, hey, the tech keeps saying blah, blah, blah. Oh, Chris is saying this again. Well,
Yeah.
here's a legit assessment that says the same thing. So
Yeah.
what do we do with this?
yeah, so you can print this out and then you can generate a customized plan. So at the bottom of this, there's also your ability to create a kind of a basic or an advanced plan. And this is, you can consider this a third-party assessment. Bring this to your superintendent if you're having troubles, getting MFA out or taking over local admin rights, and say, look, this is an external assessment. This is a common K12 cybersecurity assessment. It's telling us that we need to do this. Tell me why we don't want to do that. If you don't want to remove your...
Did you click around on the make a plan yet? It's cool.
It's very good. It's very, very good. So I definitely recommend doing this and then hitting that make a plan, because it tells you task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, what you need to do.
And kind of as an example, so me talking about security updates, being a little on the whole, am I going to do them in 30 days or what? Well, it puts it in here as what a goal would be, and then what your current status is, and then like mine generated 4 tasks to improve upon, and it lets you tweak those if you so choose, and then you have some action steps you can go through. You define the scope of the work. You talk about the risks. You talk about how you're going to communicate that, how you're going to go through, how you're going to train, how you're going to deploy it. I mean, it's legit. It's good stuff.
It's very good, and I think we've taken about 20 minutes to do it, and we were going a little bit slow, kind of going through each question. But if you were to pull your team aside or your superintendent and do this, probably 15, 20 minutes to talk about or to go through the assessment, maybe another 15, 20 minutes to talk about your next tasks. And there is a place where you can actually talk about your mitigation efforts, your communication plan, and type that in, print it out, and you're good. So if you're a smaller district, I'd say, maybe up to about 10, 15,000 students, this is a perfect assessment to do and bring to your board, because it's an outside neutral party, gives you your plan, gives you your risks. And if I was a board member, this is a very easy to consume or easy to understand plan. I like it.
Yep.
Chris,
Very cool.
You gonna print it out and present it to your board?
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I do.
All right.
Again, talking about the insurance requirement stuff, and in particular with Missouri, we have all school districts in Missouri with this particular insurance company that we use. We have new requirements that we have to, we need to quit just talking about, I kind of have an incident response plan. I kind of go through this. I guess kind of going back to what I just said, instead of just talking about it all the time, do a security assessment, click on this thing, do this thing, spend some time, pump out a plan, and then follow the plan. Yeah.
It's really good. And even as you're answering these questions, you know right away what the right answer is for each one. And if you're not answering that one, you can kind of tell where you need to go. So it's very, very good. No, we don't do backups. So, all right. That is the K12 Six Essential Cybersecurity Protections. The last thing on our agenda for tonight, Chris?
Midwest Tech Talk coming up July 17th and 18th. We're going to be down at Lake of the Ozarks. Mark, you're going to do the keynote.
Yes.
Do you have any idea what you're going to do the keynote on?
It really is going to be a comparison of what a pigeon and a seagull looks like. I just want to make sure that you guys in Missouri know what a seagull looks like. Yeah, that's the keynote. Did you want something more technical?
So most of the time, there are tech directors there, technicians there, sysadmins, network admins. They do like to talk about things that are technical.
Oh.
So I don't know if you could think, I loved what you just said, but if you could pivot a little bit to get into some technical stuff, I think that could be cool.
That is a glass half full. I love exactly what you said, but if you could do something different.
It would be great. So yeah, Mark is going to be the day one keynote. Listen to this. Like you get there, you have breakfast, you get registered. There's a welcome, and then we do this Technology Department Excellence Award. We announce the candidates. And Mark, do you know about the Excellence Award at all?
No.
So for months, it's posted on MidwestTechTalk.com. Schools across the Midwest, you can submit why your tech department is so great. So we'll get curriculum directors and superintendents to do submissions. We've gotten several of those. And then the planning committee, we narrow it down. We have a rubric that we use, some standards that we use. We get it down to 2 schools. Those 2 schools have actually been identified and contacted. So they come. We get to give them some kudos and some cred where it's due to them, give them some proper recognition. That's on day 1.
That's
and
cool.
Then on day 2, we announce the winning school district, and they receive a crown that has been forged by hand with fire, and then a bunch of prizes that they get to take back to their tech department. So really cool deal.
Okay.
So that happens. Then we have the Chromebook Gauntlet. And I think I've told you a little bit about the gauntlet before. We have the Midwest Tech Talk Battle Axe that that has been created, that is an actual axe. And then I usually review a Chromebook, a brand spanking new Chromebook, fresh out of the box. Talk about the nice specs. We put it through a gauntlet, a series of challenges. We see if it boots at the end. It never does. The crowd yells, "Smash it!" And then we hit it with the battle axe.
I'm laughing because I just came back from a conference and we didn't do any of those things. There was no crown that was hand forged.
The crown's legit.
There was nothing even close to a gauntlet.
And then after that, you come on.
Oh, I'm after that?
Yeah.
Oh God.
So hopefully it's supposed to be this climbing up a mountain, and you're getting to the peak, and you get to the peak, and you're looking out, and you see what is beyond. And it's going to be you at the peak.
Oh God, this pressure is. I'd like to rethink this and talk about this offline.
So we'll see. Fortinet's going to be there. Extreme Networks is going to be there. NTP is going to be there. So should be a great time. Several sponsors are going to be there, but those guys in particular will be hanging out with us too.
I am excited.
This
will be our third time meeting each other.
Going to be crazy.
It's going to be weird.
I think I want to tease this without giving anything away, so it's not really a true tease, but I've been working on something with the planning committee that involves Josh.
Yeah.
That will be revealed, and I've included Mark in all the details. And the thing is spectacular. And Josh has no idea.
No, and it is. I'm smiling ear to ear right now because I know what this is. This is fun. We'll reveal it on the podcast afterwards if you don't go, but I think you definitely want to be there.
And the only hint that Josh knows something is up because I double checked his eye color. to get the detail right. That's all I'm going to say. All right, we should end while we're feeling fine and I don't cross any lines, right?
Okay. All right. Well, I think we did all right without Josh.
Maybe. He will be the judge.
He will be the judge. He will judge us and Pigeons and Seagulls.
And the editing, because you're doing some weird editing thing right now, too.
Yeah, I got to do that. Oh, God.
And okay. Josh is the editor, so we'll see what happens. Thanks for listening. We are K12 Tech Talk, and so are you.
MFA.